Traveler, Paimon, please let me be your partner for the final round of the test of courage. I'd like your assistance with this investigation, since you two are the only ones who have seen the alleged ghost.
That's fine with Paimon. What do you think, Traveler?
I have a few theories, but there are some places I'd like to investigate.
Sure. Where would you like to start?
I want to go back to where we first met up. According to York, I believe there may still...
Do we really have...
Are you worried that she'll be waiting for us? If anything, that would... My worry is that we won't be able to find her. Honestly,
Wow, Hazel!
the more cases you see, the less of... This should be approximately where you first encountered the ghost. Of course, we cannot conclude whether the woman is actually a ghost or not at this point, but I'd like to go over everything that happened again. Do you
Let Paimon think. She warned us not to go near her.
And then what happened?
Then, everything seemed to get darker. Paimon saw some sort of black... Exactly!
It's possible, but I'm more interested in what she's actually trying to achieve than what she is. Even if she is a ghost, as long as she possesses some sense of reason.
Wasn't she after our souls?
I think she was just trying to scare you.
Oh.
Think about it. If I had the ability to take your souls, then besides, a ghost wouldn't have allowed you to walk away knowing about the...
That does make sense. Huh.
I believe there are only two possibilities. The first is that she wanted to reap your souls, but there was some condition that had to be met. You know, but if you had really been cursed, then you would probably have noticed it by now. So, this is the less likely scenario. I believe she was just trying to scare you away.
But why would she want to scare us away? Maybe she was trying to get us to quit so she could claim the test. Oh! Probably not. So why does she want to scare us? Do you have any idea?
Based solely on your account, I don't believe she but this evidence alone is insufficient to make any valid assumptions. Though, my intuition is telling me that neither of these hypotheses are correct. Have you found any leads yet?
Yeah, some tree branches seem like...
I see. Aside from the bent branches, there are burn marks in some places, but that doesn't really... If only there was some more conclusive evidence.
Excuse me. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, it's you guys! We heard you were out searching for... Oh, that's real...
Actually, we just asked the members of Mr. Ito's gang about what happened. That lady is either a nasty, evil spirit, or from... But we...
We long admired the... Which is why we... Even though our powers are...
The Chinju Forest covers a large area, so it'd be... Welcome to the team. Let's all...
Don't worry, we're very familiar with the area. Look what I found down by the river! Huh? What is it?
Is it a scrap of black...
This...
Shade cloth?
Yeah. It can effectively block out light and is used in a variety... There's a rough tear in the cloth, probably caused by...
Branches?
Suppose that a large shade cloth was originally hung from a tree, bending the branches. When the shade cloth was removed from the tree, perhaps one of the corners caught and the branches ripped it, causing us... Either she didn't care, or she was in too great a hurry.
But why would she
I'm only speculating, but maybe she used it to create the Let's not worry about that for now. There are still many variables. Next, I'd like to investigate the place where the Arataki gang and...
Oh, I know. I asked the gang members where their encounter with the ghost happened.
Good. Please let's go find out what's going on.
This is the place. They claim that as they passed through here, the area suddenly...
What? We saw the very same thing!
Let's start by taking a look around the area, just as we did before. Aha!
I found some sort of smashed ball, and the inside of it looks like it was blackened by smoke, and it's...
Judging from the burn marks left on the scene, they appear to have been...
There's some strange powder in the cracks of these... I picked some up and sniffed it to see what it is.
Similar scare tactics. And I believe we're closing in on the truth. I'm almost certain that the woman you encountered, she possesses no extraordinary powers. She was merely scaring people with some
small props? But...
First and foremost, the test of courage contributed to the unsettling atmosphere here. You were initially frightened by your first encounter with these 3 yokai, and then shortly after, because you were already tensed up, you were breathing more rapidly and inhaled a lot of sleeping powder that she had sprinkled around the area. That's when she pulled down the shade cloth and lit those so-called ghostly flames, creating a terrifying...
So, it was all just a show? She tricked us!
There is, however, still one loose end. The person who commissioned my investigation did become That couldn't have been accomplished by just a few small props. She can only use props to scare people in the forest, but she can use strange...
Whoa,
If we rule out the potential of organized crime, then I know who the woman is. Let's...
We'll come along too.
No. You should go back and tell the others not to be afraid and not waste... The truth has surfaced. It's time to...
Okay. If you run into any danger, simply...
There shouldn't be any danger now. Let's search along the cliffside. If I'm not mistaken, there should be a chunk of earth that's unlike the others.
I knew it. I knew that you would come find me here.
There she is. Paimon thought you were a yokai, so... Who are you? And why...
I have already warned you never to speak to me. If you don't leave now, then...
She's terrifying! Hazel, it sure doesn't seem like she's using any props this time!
Don't move. Just trust me. Your yokai power won't scare...
Yokai power?
Huh? How did you know?
You're a yokai that emerged from an object and assumed a human form outside of your own body. When this type of yokai is close to its own body, it can use some yokai power, but that ability weakens as it moves further away. And if the original body is destroyed, then the yokai that originated from it will likewise perish. Should I refer to you as a Hagoita spirit or Tsukumogami?
Don't bother. You may call me Hanyuda Chizuru.
Chizuru? Why do you... If you're a yokai, you should understand why the other... Besides, we had...
Yes. That's why. That's why
Sad?
I'm sure the yokai have all, but they don't actually know the entire story. The samurai was about 25 years old when they met at the festival. They met again 10 years later and remained friends. They spent time together drinking, traveling, and sparring. When they had first met, they merely respected each other, but 10 years later, they became best friends. After another decade, the samurai had reached the pinnacle of his swordsmanship and won their duel by a narrow margin. Kamai was so astonished by his defeat, he gave up drinking and began training to become stronger for their next duel. However, another 10 years later, Kamai did not meet the samurai. As it turned out, war had broken out in the south, and the samurai had gone to defend the border. Kamai was unconcerned, because 10 years was nothing in a yokai's lifetime. But when they met once again, Kamai discovered that the samurai was already 65 years old. He couldn't believe his eyes when he saw the samurai's gray hair and scars covering his body.
Hey, old friend. Can you still wield the sword?
I'm getting too old to fight. This time, I've come to say goodbye.
I see. Then, how about one last game of Akitsu Hazara?
All right.
The samurai gave his best effort during the game, but had to quit halfway through because he was too weak. After putting down his agoita, Kamai remained silent for a long time before letting out a long sigh.
What a shame.
Their friendship started as something they looked forward to. Lord Kamai's appearance hadn't changed, but his dear friend in front of him had grown old. The joys of friendship gradually gave way to the pain of regret. People often say that those outside the situation can see things more clearly, and I learned a harsh truth after witnessing all of it. Everything that people come to we yokai are different from humans. We have longer lifespans and different natures, but we share the same world. We interact with when the dream ends. Even a wise and seasoned yokai like Kamai felt sadness when it was time to say goodbye.
Oh.
So,
I was hiding on this beach, waiting for the last of my days. But those 3 yokai came and set up the Akitsu Yugen here, which I didn't want them to approach humans with unbridled optimism and enthusiasm.
is that why you pretended to be a ghost? Oh, so you must be the one who trapped that guy?
My power has become pretty weak now. And most of the time I just use some props I've collected to scare, but that jerk was greedy. He wanted to steal the decorations from Akitsu Yugen and sell them for a profit. That's why I used my yokai power, to teach him a lesson.
Ah, so that's what happened. By the way, how did you know the...
It's okay if you don't want to tell us. I've already figured it out. Your true form is this pair of Hagoita, isn't it?
Hagoita?
The pair of Hagoita used by Kamai and the human samurai to play Akitsu Hazura hundreds of years ago. You gradually developed sentience after being influenced by great yokai power. You were the closest to witness their story. Even with the yokai power's blessing, the Hagoita have started to rot away after hundreds of years. You can't sustain yourself, so you were forced to rely on props to scare people. And if my theory is correct, this...
Excellent work. You figured it all out. Congratulations, little ones. You've passed the 3rd round.
Miko?
I apologize for causing you concern. It was actually Lady Yai.
Because fear is induced by uncertainty, the more chaotic the situation...
So you're the one responsible for all the
Hitomi, go tell the others that the test of courage has...
Now that I've solved the mystery, I'm going back to meet with my client. The intent to steal is not exactly a serious. I'll see you two later.
Miko, did you choose the Hagoita for the third?
Miko, Lady Ya.
I followed Kitsune Saigu around the Mikawa Flower Festival one year and saw her play Akitsu Hazura. That was when I saw you. You didn't have a human form at the time and possessed only the earliest traces of sentience.
I remember now.
I went for a stroll on the beach some time ago and sensed a familiar... Though your power was weak, I was still able to find you. You were sitting in a tree, gazing at the tourists below. I overheard you telling yourself that you must be patient and avoid contact with humans.
Huh? When was that? I didn't notice you at all.
With your powers being so diminished, it was only natural that you didn't notice me. You must have been blaming yourself all this time. You knew Kamai and the samurai became friends as a result of Akitsu Hazura, a game connected to your existence.
At the time, I couldn't take on a human form like this. I had only a hazy sense of the outer world. After they first met at the Mikawa Flower Festival, I felt proud to know that I had left a mark on their story. But after they said their final goodbyes, I could often hear Kamai sighing to himself. I couldn't help but hide, because I blamed myself. When I woke up again, the world had changed. Lady Yae, you are a well-known yokai. You must know people meet, become friends, and is it really worthwhile?
Why not? Tell me.
I felt happy, but...
But your rationality told you that it was wrong, didn't it? It turns out that there is still another piece to the story of Kamai and the samurai.
What do you mean?
True, but the story doesn't end there. That samurai's name was Yanagibashi Takuto, who also happens to be the founder of the Soran Ishin art. It is believed that Takuto developed this style of swordsmanship while dueling with Kamai, who had also befriended the third-generation heir of the Soran Ishin art. 500 years ago, Kamai and Tominaga fought side by side until their final moments, and the sword Tominaga wielded was passed down from Yanagibashi. The regret Kamai once felt had finally been resolved.
Oh. I never knew.
We yokai are not like humans. Humans have too short... However, the bond formed by friendship will not be broken, but there's no reason to be upset by this. Time flies by in an instant, and life passes by like a dream. So, you must be happy in the present. You should understand what I mean now.
Hey, compadres!
Ito, what are you doing here?
He told me everything. And I also heard that you won. I even know who the ghost lady is now. Hey, you're that fox lady. Why are you here?
Please just disregard my presence.
Ah, right. All right, listen up. To celebrate the end of the Test of Courage event, we will be... I gave it some real thought and realized that it might be kind of difficult for those little yokai to hold the festival on their own. But when... That's right. Arataki, the one and only Ito, will be in charge of organizing...
Hooray for...
Oh.
Can we really trust this guy?
Hey, what you trying to say? Besides, it won't just be me. Other people... Everyone's busy getting ready, and the festival will be up and running in no time.
You're the best, Ito!
And what would a festival be without me? I'll be sure to go have a look, too. It has been some time since I've attended a festival. Fortunately, I brought sake with me.
Paimon's gotta admit, Ito does have his moments. A festival, delicious food, count Paimon in!
All right, I'll join. If you don't mind, that is.
I was just saying that if I had more time, I'd have built a massive...
Fishing? You know, when I lived on Watatsumi Island, I used to just dive into the sea and catch fish with my bare hands.
Take it from an expert, using your hands to catch fish is nowhere near as fun as using a fishing rod. Just the other day, I caught a fish so big...
That's an unusual
Huh? A big fish?
Huh? You wrote a letter to Yai Public?
Oh, you bet I did. I wrote to the That's Life column and asked Miss Hina for advice. She's so amazing.
Huh, what a coincidence. I do some part-time work there, and I recently received a similar letter.
You mean the letter was about dealing with a giant fish they caught? No. Could it be? Could it be that there's someone as good at fishing as I am? Oh, not on my watch. Hey, you all go enjoy the festival. I'm gonna get out there and Just you wait. I'll be inviting you all to my fish feast.
Aw, the string snapped. Yoimiya, this is more difficult than it looks. Can you really fish out?
Don't worry. Let me show you a little trick. Just remember that your hand has to be quick. Yo-Yo Tsuri! Paimon's seen this game in some light novels before. Do you want to give it a shot? Close one eye, aim carefully, and fish it out quick. Oh, it looks kinda tricky. Paimon will let the traveler...
But Yoimiya, if I close one eye, I won't be able to see anything.
This ramen is so good. You mean you don't get to eat ramen very often, Ayaka? But it's so delicious!
Oh, it's you. We'll need food like ramen and hot pot tend to have a lot of oil and salt, so I don't get to eat.
Oh.
Yeah, now Paimon totally gets why Ayaka would put cake into hot pot.
Huh?
Oh, please, no need to bring that up again.
Phew, I'm stuffed.
By the way, were there any special stalls at yokai festivals in the past?
Yes, but... well, it's a long story.
Paimon can't believe you couldn't get a single water balloon. Chizuru managed to finally get one and gave it to Hitotsume Kozo.
He looked like he really wanted it.
But Paimon...
All right, then I'll...
Yay!
Come on now, this is way more expensive than usual. Even if it is a festival, you shouldn't hike up the prices this much.
Hey now, it costs money to run a stall. I need to raise my prices to help cover the expenses, you know?
Fair enough. How about 5 masks for 30% off? Final offer.
All right, all right.
It's so hot. Feels like I'm being roasted here.
Don't get too close.
I know. It's just so rare to see such a nice bonfire.
There are many beautiful things in the world. There's no need to be anxious. The festival has only just begun.
I was surprised that you didn't even tell your sister. It seems she...
It would have been uninteresting had I told her what was going to happen ahead of time. Besides, with her friends by her side, she wouldn't ever be too scared. Having a little fright is good to release any tension she might have accumulated lately.
Everything went according to plan. People started...
Yes, well done.
Hey, you two, stop laughing! It was scary!
Have you finished exploring the festival? Well then, are you having...
Yeah, it's...
The original Mikawa Flower Festival was much more lively. But even if you could attend the original, you probably wouldn't be as happy as you are now. Because it's always more fun to enjoy a festival with friends, isn't it?
Yes. Thank you.
Well then, I'm guessing you have something you want to say to her alone?
What did you want to say to us?
Ah, you saw through me again. I can't help but feel you somehow know everything.
It's not that I know everything. It's just that I've been in your position before.
Traveler, do you have a moment?
Saying goodbye is also part of a festival.
Yes.
I want to become a great yokai, like the mighty Urakusai. Then I'll be able to help create a real Mikawa flower festival.
Are you enjoying yourself?
Oh, starting to get the hang of it, huh? Keep trying.
Oh, I sure bought a lot of stuff. I'll have to organize it all when I get back.
One bowl of ramen shouldn't hurt, right?
Weird. Where did all the fish go?
Don't worry. Let's go try another spot.
Time to go.
All right, here will do. Actually, I was delighted when I first discovered that I could take on a human form. I was a yokai derived from a pair of Hagoita who came into being in the middle of a festival. So naturally, I enjoyed the lively festival atmosphere. I wanted to go to more festivals, become friends with humans, and play Akitsu Yugen with them. But every evening, as night began to set in, I'd recall the bitter smile of the old samurai as he set down the Hagoita, and the lonely Kamai sighing as he drank his sake. Then I would wonder, if I became friends with a human, would that person experience the same melancholy in the future? As a result, I was convinced that I couldn't do it. I told myself I would not repeat that same mistake. I'm sorry that I spoke so strangely when we first met. I'm sure it must have scared you. I expected you to flee in terror. But when we met again, you acted like you had no trouble being around me. I knew you mistook me as one of the yokai, but instead of telling you the truth, I went and played Akitsu Yugen with you. I'm not completely sure myself. Perhaps it's because I've always wanted to be like Kamai and play Akitsu Yugen with humans. Or perhaps it was because I knew I didn't have much time left, and I didn't want to be alone. Anyway, thank you for taking the time to play with me. When we played Akitsu Yugen, Paimon at the time, I wish, however, you still came and found me. Meaning, you never granted my wish. So, can I make another wish? Let me think. I wish for you. Okay. Listen carefully. My wish is, I wish that every day of your journey ahead will be filled with joy, like a festival.
Time to go.
I'm so tall. Everyone else looks so tiny now. Every year when the fireworks go off, I say to myself, another year has already passed. As each year passes by, your life gradually approaches its end. But I don't think that's a bad thing. Like I always say, fireworks are for now, but friends are forever.
When Ayato approached me about holding the Test of Courage event, it dawned on me that this would be the perfect opportunity to help Chizuru face her problem. Kamai and the samurai's parting was one of the first things she experienced when she was partially sentient and didn't have her human form yet. This was a very traumatic experience for her, and she could never come to grips with it by reasoning alone. The best option for her was to directly interact with humans. There's no need to feel sad. I believe she was content when she left us.
So, once I learned of the yokai's intentions to hold a festival, I wanted to spread the word and attract people to their event. However, it occurred to me that doing so might be overly ambitious. If we marketed the Mikawa Flower Festival from the get-go, people would have arrived with insatiably high expectations. So I decided on using the Test of Courage's notoriety to attract visitors, and left the rest to the yokai. I had an inkling that their presence would spice up the event.
After hearing Chizuru describe the original Mikawa Flower Festival, I didn't expect that would be our last conversation.
Will you have some time in the next few days, Kazuha? I'd like you to work on a case with me.
Oh, did you run into some trouble?
Not exactly. It's just an old case with almost no tangible leads. But I believe your attuned sense of nature might allow us to discover some new clues.
Sure. I can stay after the festival and we can go investigate together.
Great! Thank you.
My pleasure. It's no trouble at all. Even though I knew my lord had most likely planned everything before the Test of Courage even began, I was still caught off guard. But in retrospect, it was a lot of fun.
Lifespans, partings, it really gets you thinking, doesn't it? But, I got nothing. Alls I know is I'll never regret meeting you.
It was, heartbreaking to learn of Chizuru's story. To be honest, I experienced that same kind of sorrow when I'm on the battlefield. I don't know when I'll lose my comrades, so I try to appreciate every moment.